Welcome to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast, your guide to future tech trends and innovation in a language you understand. Now, over to your host, Neil Hughes.
Welcome back to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast. Now, as regular listeners will know, I love exploring how technology is transforming our entire lives, and indeed the world of business too. Especially in areas that you don't automatically associate with technology. And today's podcast episode, I'm hoping, is going to hammer home that point perfectly. For example, if we go back to the birth of rock and roll and those famous guitars made by Fender, such as Telecaster and Stratocaster, it's difficult to imagine how technology could impact Fender's business and how a new generation of rock stars will actually learn to play the guitar. But in 2015, Fender Digital was established, which is a wholly owned division of the Fender Musical Instruments Corporation, but dedicated to connecting a legacy brand with a new digital ecosystem of products and interactive experiences, all designed to accompany players across a multitude of genres at every single stage of their musical journey. So building on that iconic Fender name, Fender Digital designs and develops apps, websites, platforms and tools to complement Fender Electric and their acoustic guitars, along with amplifiers and pro audio gear, to actually try and inspire players through a 360-degree musical experience. Now, a few years have passed since Ethan Kaplan, Chief Digital Officer at Fender, has been on this show. So I invited him back on to discuss how this new platform is continuously updating and also to hear more about their plan for continued digital growth. So buckle up and hold on tight so I can beam your ears all the way to LA so we can speak with Ethan Kaplan from Fender Digital. So a massive warm welcome back to the show, Ethan. Can you tell the listeners a little about who you are and what you do?
Sure. I'm the Chief Digital Officer over at Fender, the guitar company. So I run all of the digital product division, everything from Fender.com to Fender Play, which is our online guitar instruction application.
Now, the last time we spoke, you had just launched Fender Play. And for people that missed that conversation, can you just offer a bit of an overview of exactly what Fender Play is and how successful it's been in the last couple of years?
Sure. We launched Fender Play almost 2 years ago. Fender Play it's an app and a website that teaches you how to play guitar using pretty top-notch video instruction as well as text and tablature and a bunch of other tools. Our aim with making Fender Play was to get more people playing guitar and keep them playing guitar, and help them create music. We've been out 2 years. We've taught hundreds of thousands of people how to play guitar. And it's been really good for not only as a standalone product, but a lot of the, outcomes of it in terms of our physical business, the community it's generated, and kind of the energy it's created around the guitar have been great.
Now, of course, we are living in the age of the API. And when you think about an API, you don't automatically think of Fender guitars. So can you tell me a little bit more about the use of GraphQL, which will allow the Fender Play team to actually build a flexible application programming interface to help future-proof the platform's applications?
Yeah, so we're a heavily Amazon-invested environment. When I got in here, I basically was one person around a conference table and started up our first servers. And from the get-go, we decided to be microservice-based, very API-based, and loosely coupled between our applications and the server side. We've started shifting to GraphQL instead of static API definitions, mostly to provide the flexibility for the product teams to make our applications really serve the users and not have to wait for API definitions to catch up to the needs of the product side. So having a meta language essentially that lets us take requests to the API and do the responses on those requests that are dynamic in nature really makes the product team a lot more flexible in terms of where they take the application and how quickly they can respond to user feedback.
Now, when recording this daily tech podcast, I am getting to hear more and more about the rise of the experience economy and the personalization of everything. And many believe that the experience a company provides a customer is even more important than the transaction itself now. And I love how you guys have evolved a business with a rich history and made it fit for a digital age. But what kind of challenges have you faced along the way when digitally transforming Fender?
Fender at the core is a wood and metal company, right? We've made for 70 plus years a guitar and guitars and multiple ones and amplifiers that really stand on their own as these amazing tools of creating sound, essentially. When you go into a digital space, you need to not stray too far from that heritage. And so if you look at our applications, they're really complements to the act of playing and making music. So our biggest challenge is the fact that to get the most out of the things we do on the digital space in terms of Fender Play and Fender Tune, you have to have a guitar in hand. But the benefit for us is that we know that somebody now has a guitar in their hand when they're using these applications. So the way that we talk to people, the experiences we make through our apps, through our CRM infrastructure and how we communicate to people, we can take that kind of moment, understanding that somebody's sitting down, really deliberately playing music when they use our apps, and really, understand the experience that they're going through and help make it even better. So digitally transforming Fender is not as much doing apps for app's sake. It's more, how do we take the experience of playing and creating music and really make it more, and enable it and make it even more compelling. So it's been, there's always a little balance in that, and a self-editing that has to go into it. But it keeps us focused, I think, on what really matters.
And I'm curious, since you guys went digital at Fender, has it created more opportunities than you had originally predicted when you first launched?
Yeah, I mean, part of it is just having the knowledge that when people are using these applications, they have a guitar in their hand. That in and of itself is a really powerful thing because it lets us actually talk to the user. The guitar doesn't talk, right? A guitar is a piece of wood and metal. We intentionally make it player friendly, but it's not going to communicate back to you. But because when people are using Fender Tune or Fender Play, they're sitting there with a guitar in hand, but we now have that avenue to talk to them. Do they need new strings? Do they, is there something new to learn? Or is there a new song they can learn, a new skill? And we can really kind of enable that communication, but enable it organically in a way that is still keeping the instrument front and center. So the two businesses and the two product lines, right, the physical product line and the digital, are very complementary to each other and help each other out.
I completely agree with you, but didn't Bruce Springsteen once say, I got this guitar and I learned how to make it talk?
Yeah, but it didn't talk back to him. He made it talk.
Brilliant. So, I mean, how have your community responded? Do you have any feedback stories that you can share over the last couple of years?
So when we launched Fender Play, launched an online community that we invite people into when they join Play. And it's been amazing to see how many people of all different walks of life, all different backstories have been picking up the guitar, putting their phone down, recording themselves playing, sharing it, and then supporting themselves in it. I think what's really come out of Fender Play is learning guitar is a life skill, but it's a life skill that means a lot to people. And it's like, for some, it's a bucket list item that they always wanted to learn. For some, it's a means of getting creative expression out of them. And some want to just cover their favorite songs. But the act of learning it is tough. It's a hard thing to do. And having this community of people supporting each other through the products, not only the guitars, but also the digital products, has been really amazing to see. And just the diversity of people that are playing, the types of music they play, types of guitars they buy. I mean, it's been crazy just to see the diversity of the player community, all walks of life, all genders, all ages. It's been really fun.
And how's Fender going to continue to leverage technology as you look towards the future? Is there anything else you can share around that?
I mean, we always kind of push the edges of tech. On the guitar side, Leo Fender was not a guitar player, famously. He was a listener and a product developer. He took the feedback from artists and then made the guitars in response to that feedback. So as we make new products and new guitars, A case example is the Acoustasonic, which we just launched. And we constantly kind of stretch the boundaries of the guitar business. On the amplifier side, we are working on a lot of cool stuff. Amplifiers fundamentally are signal processing, so there's a lot to be done there. And then with Fender Digital, we're working on an app called Fender Songs that'll really unlock the entire music library to learning. And we're going to continue to expand Fender Play. We have a long roadmap ahead. We're working on a bunch of new features right now. We just launched Fender Play kind of version 3.0 with the new timeline view and the new kind of very linear path view. But we have a lot of other stuff coming in the next year.
So if we do have a business leader listening in any industry, hearing your story, inspired by your journey and thinking of following in your footsteps by making their own business digital, is there any advice that you could offer about providing that universally connected experience?
I'd say, having done digital transformations for a while, and Fender is the most fun in terms of the latest one, you have to protect the heritage of what your company stands for. And your company doesn't stand for digital. Your company stands for the needs of their customer and needs of the user and needs of the fan, whatever it is. With Fender, we are a company that makes tools to create music. And it doesn't matter if you're in an arena on your Edge playing to 60,000 people, or you're playing to your friends in your house, or you're just playing to your dog from your couch, right? We're still making the tools to help create. The digital tech, and as we've kind of transformed this company into a digital and physical products company, we make sure that we are serving the heritage of the brand, and that the digital products we make could stand alongside the Stratocaster and the Telecaster and the Jazzmaster and the P-Bass and the J-Bass as high a quality as those products are. We're carrying a 70-year legacy forward. We're not replacing it.
And finally, if we do have anyone listening that's always wanted to learn the guitar but not got round to it, felt intimidated by walking into guitar shops, you can just point them in the direction of where they can find out more information about Fender Play.
Sure. If you go to fender.com/play, you can sign up for a 14-day free trial. After that, it's $9.99 a month. Or if you go for the yearly option, which is $89.99, you also get 10% off all Fender gear on fender.com. And participating dealers for the entire year. So it's a pretty killer deal. Get that next guitar after you learn how to play the first one. So it's fender.com/play.
Fantastic. I'll add all those links to the show notes and the blog posts that will accompany this episode. I can't thank you enough for coming back on today. It's a pleasure to see you having this continued digital growth. But I think one of the most important things as well is how you've remained faithful to the heritage of the company and everything that Fender stands for. I think it's fantastic what you've done. But more than anything, just a big thank you for coming back on and joining me today, Ethan. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much.
Fender, and indeed Fender Digital, has always been incredibly cool and a forward-thinking company. But I love how it's continuing to evolve. And the use of GraphQL is another update which will allow the Fender Play team to go on and build flexible application programming interfaces to help future-proof the platform's applications. And like I said at the beginning of the show, we are living in the age of the API, and I think it's fascinating to see Fender working in this way, and it can only be a great thing. And like Ethan said, it's not about using tech for tech's sake. It's about creating a more streamlined experience that is tailored to the individual's learning path, while also making the app itself just faster and more responsive. Once again, it's not about the tech, it's about the experience that they're creating. And I also love, of course, that seamless consistency between the mobile and the web. But I think I've left it a little too late to unleash my inner rock star on the world. But if you're a guitarist listening, or someone that's just wanting to learn to play, what do you think of Fender Play? Have you tried it? What did you like? What did you not like? As always, this is where I pass the virtual microphone over to you and ask you to email me, techblogwriter@outlook.com, tweet me at Neil C. Hughes, and make your voice heard. I genuinely would love to hear your thoughts on this one and the incredibly cool work Fender are doing. But it's time for me to get the rock out of here! Sorry, I can't control myself sometimes. So all that's left for me to say is be excellent to each other, and I'll see you all again tomorrow. So thanks for listening, and until next time, don't be a stranger.
Thanks for listening to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast. Until next time, remember, technology is best when it brings people together.